tonight, I would like for us to just kind of do more interactive and everybody's talking because it's wholesaling and we all have to be able to understand it together. And I figure we can just kind of start off by discussing what is wholesaling, and if anybody want to say, what it is that they know about wholesaling and what that looks like, and we could begin from there before we move on into potentially looking at like PropStream or PropWire, and how we're going to move forward in wholesaling. So who would like to start? Like, what do you know about wholesaling? What is it? From the video, especially from the video that we had out for everyone to watch.
Basically, this is the kids speaking, of course. Basically, what I get out of it is, you're like the middleman of a deal, like basically. But if you want me to elaborate a little bit, like I'm pretty sure we all know, the basics of wholesaling because I'm not the one to really be talking. I just wanted to, participate tonight, so that's the reason why I'm speaking. But
Yeah,
I look at it as, basically the middleman of the deal. If somebody is selling a property, you have somebody that's selling, and then you have somebody that buys, and then in between you get this contract, and you get the deal, and then you get the contract on both ends, and you know you close and so forth. But that's just basically, you know, a
yeah,
touch of
definitely.
what I kind of wholesaling as of breaking it all down.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree. Do anybody else have any thoughts on that, or anything they want to elaborate with what Kia said? Elaborate on. As I was looking at it, I call it the ABC of wholesaling because there's the person that is has the property that they're trying to sell, and then B,
Seller.
the wholesaler, which is us, or whomever it is that's trying to connect the person to the C person, which is the buyer, the end buyer, the end person who's now is going to buy the property that A is selling. So being the B person, we are the ones who set up the contracts between them. And from there, after that deal is done, we stand off and receive our commission, our pay from it. So, basically that's what I receive from it. Anyone else want to talk about that? So it seems like we all agree that wholesaling is ABC. The seller.
Yeah, I like how you put it in the terms of the ABC. Yes, that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, not yet.
Let's talk about PropStream. If there's no other thoughts on that, like what is wholesaling and what is the purpose of wholesaling? Like, why did we decide to go for wholesaling and what that looks like for us? And of course, it's one of the ways that we can purchase property without having so much money down. This just allows us to be able to get started now. And that's what we all wanted to do. So that's the reason why we're starting with this wholesaling adventure and trying to move forward with that. So, and that's the goal. That's the goal. Have we looked at PropStream or PropWire, any of us, to kind of see how that looks? I know that
we saw a little bit a while ago, but we haven't touched it. It's so funny. I actually drove around today and I had pictures of a property that I was like, oh, I think we should wholesale this in our town. So I was trying to look it up. It says it's pending already. So I think it's under like a contract probably, but it would have been perfect because it's like probably super cheap. It needs work, so it definitely would need an investor to, fix it up, but it's already in the pending status. So, because I called him and I was like, I think this will be good for the wholesaling team. And I got out of my car, I started taking pictures.
We can still call them because you never know if that deal is gonna actually go through to the closing table.
So it was like I was driving for dollars, but not really driving for dollars, right? Like I was like, oh,
No, that and driving for dollars.
no, like I set out to do that. Like I was literally on my way back from the grocery store and I just happened to see this house and I was like, oh, this is a wholesaling house, like for sure. So
Mhm.
I mean, I know there's also like key terminology that is very important to what wholesaling is. As far as like how to run numbers and things like that. So I know we're gonna start getting into those and acronyms and things like that. So once maybe we should write down like a Google Doc with what the acronyms mean and then like have them available so we all kind of have that out. I was just thinking about that. Like, you know, the ARVs and where the contracts are and all that kind of stuff, or what type of contracts we would need. So I think maybe we could have them like on a doc and that way, okay, this is wholesaling and everything's under that. So
Yeah,
just kind
I agree. That would be
of
something that you can do
ahead.
for the group. Okay, so yeah, we definitely can create that a doc for that. If
Okay.
you don't mind, you can actually create one and we can put it in for
Yeah,
the
I
group.
got. And then I know Jay, you have some terms, and then I can get some terms together and kind of start writing them out and things like that, so that way everybody can see them and get access. And because you know,
Mhm.
when you start saying ARV, some people might, you know, some of us might not know what that means because you've never really heard the term before. So, but that's used a lot with sailing.
Okay, awesome. I think the next
Yeah, got a
place.
question.
Yeah. What's up here?
So you know that book that that ebook that I put in the chat that has
Yeah.
all the songs. If you look at that, if you're going to be the one to do the Google Docs or somebody's going to do it, if you want me to do it, I'll do it. I already started anyway, but it
Okay.
has all the terminology. It has everything that you want.
Sure.
Not
I
gonna say
mean,
everything, but it's to get us started. It has a lot to get us started. Definitely.
yeah, we can also partner. We'll all partner with each other, and then just start putting the stuff together. I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that worked out well. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for volunteering, you guys. Okay. Also I know Fernando, I think you have PropStream, correct? Was it you, Fernando, that had PropStream? It was you.
Yeah,
I
he
think.
has like the subscription.
Okay, so and I know that Ace had got PropStream as well. I think that maybe we can kind of tonight go in, if no one opposed to it, just kind of go in and familiarize ourselves on what that looks like, PropStream looks like, and how we would research a property on PropStream if we found one. What is your thoughts?
That sounds good.
So are we gonna
Yeah.
do the are we gonna do the team membership with the 5 people per team?
There
So
go Fernando.
I think it will cost around $50. I forgot the pricing on
Yeah,
it.
I think that's that is the goal, because if we're gonna move forward in doing wholesaling, that will be the goal, to purchase the teams, and we can definitely discuss that on how we're going to break that down. We really need to make sure that we have a group of people that's dedicated to wanting to do wholesaling, because there's no need for us to start breaking down teams and we don't have people that's dedicated. And then you have groups of 5, I think it is, for each team, but then you got 2 out of the 3 people that's actually working it. So we can definitely discuss that. Yeah, so but I'm if we want to, Ace, can you pull up PropStream and for us? Once we get that up, we can just kind of review it and give everybody. I don't know if did anybody go on PropWire to kind of check that out?
Yeah, I was on it today.
What do you think about
Just went
that?
through it briefly. Honestly, it seems pretty similar to this software that I use that's for real estate agents, that's called Perchwell. So honestly, it seemed like I was kind of pretty familiar with this kind of thing already. So I was on there pretty briefly. But it seems pretty good for like a free platform. Like a good amount of, filters and everything like that. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's get into looking at PropWire. So that way, again, we can just kind of have a gist of what that looks like when we're getting ready to get into our teams. And looking up properties. So once we can get that pulled up, we can begin.
I kind of stepped away for a second. My dog was being needy, but are we discussing kind of PropWire or PropStream, which way to go, or is that what we were saying?
Yeah, I was asking Ace to pull up PropStream so that way we can just kind of review it, because I know everybody doesn't have PropStream. I remember that you said that you had it, and I just wanted to show what PropStream looked like and what we would need to have and how we can either put a property in by the area codes and stuff like that, so that way we can have a visual tonight.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Ace, are you able to pull it up?
It's the thumbs up.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, great. Now, so here's PropStream. Ace, are you able to go in and like showcase how just that? Yeah. So now, are you able to explain to everyone on what that looks like once they put a property in? So for example, if we're in Kansas City and we're looking for a property in Kansas City, what that looks like? Hold on for a second, guys. Hold on. Okay, I just had to get my daughter real quick. Okay, so let me see if I can. All right, so everybody, so you see, you okay? Hold on, she's not feeling well, guys. I'm gonna get her sitting.
Can you all see PropStream?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we see it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the idea is we'd have to figure out we'd have to figure out how to either one, focus on one market or focus on multiple markets. Because there's only a few of us. The hope was that there'd be at least, 20, 25 people who were interested in wholesaling, so we could, really hammer this out. But if there's only a couple of people that's really serious about wholesaling, that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. It's just going to just add to the, put a little bit more burden on the few members that's actively participating. So, but the idea here is, if we focus on one particular market, PropStream does a great job of just punching in the zip code or the county, and it'll automatically start identifying or categorizing the properties, as you see here in this top portion of my screen. We have the 2,600 plus MLS listings, 295 pre-foreclosures. And obviously these are the opportunities, right? So are we looking at pre-foreclosures? Are we looking for opportunities that's available via auction? Are we looking at bank-owned opportunities, liens, vacant properties, and so on? Are we going to focus on high-end equity properties? These are properties that would be considered like either close to being paid off or just completely paid off. So when they say high equity, there has to be, the only way you really achieve that is if you're close to being paid off or you're already paid off. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so if we take any, anyone has any idea or suggestion as to which level of property or which category of properties, any suggestions as far as which ones we like to focus on?
Like residential? Is that what you
About
mean?
out of state owner?
Say that, I couldn't hear it. What was that again?
Like how
Out
specific do you mean?
No, so these are the categories that I mentioned just previously.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then these are these categories here are the main categories. These are like the most searched categories, right? So they added these here for convenience purposes, PropStream that is. If you want to identify other opportunities, we can, basically filter out by, several different filters, and try to, redefine what these search results look like. So that's why I was asking, does anyone have any any suggestions? We could go with vacant, trying to find opportunities with vacant properties or properties that have liens. When you think about properties that have liens, for example, these properties, you could check within the public records to see what type of liens would be assigned on these properties. As you can see here on this list, we got homeowners association liens, which isn't that much, but really what we'd be looking for is something in the thousands like this one. There could be contractor liens, where a contractor did some work on the property. Does anyone, like, I don't know you all's level of experience with real estate, so just pause me if you need me to answer any questions, if anything sounds confusing. But a lien is anyone who did some type of work, like a contractor, or they have some legal right to some money owed to them by the owner. The owner entered into some contractual agreement and didn't fulfill their end of the bargain. So they could have said, hey, roofer, I need you to fix my roof. And hey, I'll pay you, $4,000 down, depending on the square footage. Hey, I'll give you $4,000 up front, and then I'll give you the rest when you complete the work. And maybe after the contractor completed the work, the homeowner, for whatever reason, maybe they lost their job, they fell ill, whatever, and they couldn't come up with the rest of the money, or just failed to pay the contractor. So Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So like,
Hey, Anthony, I I don't just add to you, Anthony. Don't forget it can also be tax related too, for people not getting behind in property taxes. Those
yes,
are liens as well.
well, not property taxes, but federal taxes, because a tax the property taxes they work a little differently, and it depends on the market. So some markets might
Yeah,
add an actual lien on the property. It really depends,
yeah.
but typically, like in Missouri, for example, if you're delinquent on your taxes, it's by law that they have the right to just you know, secure the property, like take that
Hmm.
back from you. So like here, we have the federal tax lien that's $17,205.
No, no, no.
It could be the city came through and they saw violations on your property and you didn't fulfill, they told you you needed to, you know, keep your grass cut, or um
Hmm.
your shrubs or bushes or trees are overgrowing, or you know, you need to paint your home. Maybe there's paint chips or visible deterioration on your roof, or whatever the case may be. It could be anything. But whoever has the right to put a lien, I'll just summarize it this way. Whoever has the right to put a lien on your property for whatever reason, these are the liens these are the type of properties we'll see, or the type of liens we'll see here in this list. But every state is different. So every state might not put a tax lien on your property. They might have the right to just take your property. So some states do and some states don't.
Yeah, you're right. Every state is, and sometimes it's not just by the state. Sometimes it's just certain counties of a state.
Right,
You
right.
know, like yeah, like states like Texas and Florida that got so many counties in them. Um, that's just something to be mindful of as well.
So these types of properties would be these are the type of opportunities we might want to explore, because these are the people who will, if they don't pay these liens. Now certain liens, they could go on forever. So the way it works, you would be responsible for what do you call it, I was looking for the legal term for it, but you be responsible for paying off the lien at the sale of your property. So when you decide to sell your property, so these liens could sit on your property forever. I don't know who all knows about this, but some of these liens could sit on your property forever. And the way it would work is, once the property, or you decide as the owner decides to sell that home, then you would be responsible for paying this amount. So whatever the proceeds are, so for example, let's just take a nice round number. If this property was worth 100,000, its estimated value is 380, but we're going to use a nice round number. If it's $100,000, and let's say you have a $50,000 mortgage left on your property, let's just include taxes in it and stuff like that too. So $50,000 completely pays off the rest of everything that you own that property. That would mean that you have $50,000 coming your way to put in your pocket, right? After you sold it. Does that make sense to everyone? Just pause me if you have any questions or a little confused. That would mean $50,000 is coming your way. The title company is going to say, oh, look, you have a $17,000 lien on your property. So that $17,000 lien is going to be deducted from that 50,000. Okay, so that means they would get the difference, which would be like roughly $33,000. So this type of lien, unless the federal government decided to, depending on the state, has some right to foreclose on the property due to this amount, and due to the number of years it's went unpaid. Like I said, that could be state or county, or city specific, but typically some of these liens could sit on a property forever and they can just accumulate.
So if we went that route, we would basically have to make sure we account for those liens, as opposed to how much we're going to get at the end. I mean, we have to factor that in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so in the analysis aspect of it, right, because that's going to affect what we get. It could affect what we get, not necessarily, but it could. The savvy investor should already be doing their due diligence to understand what these, whether there's liens on the property or not. But we would basically kind of package up the property and let them know, hey, look, this is everything that we saw doing our due diligence, and say, here's a good property, and here's what we estimate what you'd make, and factor in what we're looking for out of the deal as well. So if we were looking to generate 10,000 off of this deal, we'd have those numbers ran for them already.
It also presents negotiating power. If those liens are detected, and negotiating with the seller, you could tell them, either there are liens that are discovered, you're gonna, tell the seller they're gonna need to pay them if they want X price. However, you know, you know, as the investor, we could pay them, but that price that you want goes away. It's gonna be less. So that's like a way to approach that, or a couple ways to approach that when they have those liens. And ultimately it depends on how motivated they are too to sell the property, get rid of it.
Right, exactly.
Have you checked into vacant?
What was that?
Have you checked into vacant property?
No. What do you, when you say, have we checked into vacant, what do you mean exactly?
Yeah, because when you were basically saying do you want to go the lien way or the vacant way? That's all I was saying. Have you looked in, or when you go in, right? You put into the search what you want to look for. If you want to look for houses with liens, you would put liens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to look for vacant, you have an option to look for vacant property.
Correct.
He hasn't went over it in this this meeting, if that's what you mean. But it's definitely an option for us. He's just going over different options and
Right there.
the first.
No, I think what she's trying to say is when Ace asks, what do we want to focus on? And I think her suggestion is vacant.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's still an option.
Yeah.
We just haven't went over it yet.
Gotcha.
I got you now. Thank you.
Yeah, so these are with liens, for example. This is just an example of how you would spot opportunities, because this will give us a pretty good idea if the owner is struggling or if they are motivated. This doesn't mean that they will be, because like I said, some of these loans, like a HOA lien, not loans, liens, could sit on that property and they won't have to, if I'm the owner, right, of this one, I don't have to pay this until I, have to, until I'm ready to sell it. So you can just keep racking up just keep racking up whatever that HOA is each year or each quarter or every, biannually or whatever the case may be. It can just keep going. So, but these federal, where was that at? This sanitation charges, these are more serious. In the state of Missouri, they will come after your property for these. So they will come after your property for these, because this affects the viability value of the neighborhoods, of the surrounding properties in that neighborhood. So your city might care about these.
So what is the sanitation charges? Those I've never seen before. Are these like, maybe they just got charges for like garbage and stuff like that?
Yeah, it could be any it could be anything. It depends on your
State or county or something like that?
yeah, exactly. So
I
like for
got you.
example
Okay.
here, I had spoke because we would actually check out opportunities at the tax foreclosure sale here in Missouri. So what we would do is we would go to the public records and check the types of liens. And I would call up the city and ask them about the different type or the different liens that I saw on particular properties that I was interested in pursuing. And it could be, like I said, it could be that your home has, because some people will put a lot of stuff in their yards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah,
A disabled vehicle.
right.
Okay, it could be a disabled vehicle parked on your lawn. It could be parked in the front of your, in the front of your home on the street.
Yeah.
They think they mechanic shop.
Yeah,
Or it could be a lot of hoarders have things like that too on their properties. Like they just accumulate things.
right, like hoarders. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that's ideally why home associations came about, right? To kind of manage that and keep that, at a minimal, depending on the area. So, but does that make sense? Does anyone have any additional questions or concerns about that?
No, you're very clear.
Okay. So hold on, I think somebody has a question in the chat. Oh, okay, I see. That's Brian. So vacant liens, expired listings, vacant out of state owners. Yeah, out of state owners is a good one. Brian. So that's the part that we all have to really focus on, is deciding on what market, what types of properties. We don't have to stick to a particular type of property. It would be kind of easier because you can kind of get into a flow, as far as your workflow is concerned. If we just stuck with, properties that have liens on it, then we know what we're looking for. Everyone gets familiar with that workflow, and then it just gets a little easier. If we expand it to other types of properties like pre-foreclosures, then, it's the same thing, but, you just got to add a little extra. Like I said, there's only a few of us, so there's a little bit more work, to do as far as evaluating those types of properties. So.
I like how detailed this is though, and how specific to each category.
Yeah, so so how does it work? So what are the steps from this point? Well, you have to have a marketing strategy. And you can go through, so we have the opportunity to go through and start. So this is the what do they call it? I think in the book that Kia had dropped on us, I think they call it a push and pull method, where you have where you're doing the legwork, you're doing all the manual legwork or labor, if you will. So like, this is a list of properties, and we'd go through and start checking this list. As you can see, it's 304,000. Okay, so it's a long list. So we would go through and just start, identifying these particular properties that we might think is a good is a good opportunity. So for liens, we have 2,500. So we can go through and start checking these. Hey, you select a property, and check out its estimated value, check out other characteristics of the property. What other properties are for sale in this neighborhood? What did they sell for in the last 6 months or the last year? These are some of the characteristics that a end buyer will want to know, because that's how they're going to determine value. And that's how we are going to be able to calculate how much money we can get out of these particular properties. So anyway, what are the next steps? Well, we identify a list of properties and we just start hitting that list manually, reaching out to any property owner that we believe would fit the criteria of a motivated or distressed owner. The second part of that is to do the pull method, where we're pulling in potential leads, and that's through marketing. The video that Jay Money dropped in the chat groups earlier this week, talked about that. He did a really good job of providing a visual out or graph or outlook of how that, I would just say, a visual representation of the marketing strategy, what that looks like. In fact, I'll pull that up real quick.
That was a good video.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Okay.
his marketing strategy was in depth.
Yeah, it was good. Did everybody watch it? Because if everybody watched it, do you need to take time to watch it now? It's pretty long, isn't
They
it?
shouldn't,
No,
they shouldn't watch it right now, but definitely
Like
watch it.
15 minutes.
Yeah. We want
Yeah.
to focus on
Do
this.
you just want to play a clip, Ace?
What'd you say?
Yeah. Are you just gonna play like a clip of it? Is that what you was? Because I thought you was about to pull up like the whole video. That's why I said that.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
no,
definitely
no, no,
watch it now.
no.
Like,
I
no.
think he would just represent like the marketing strategy, which is just like a little clip of out of the whole
Oh, okay.
video.
Just the clip of the graph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is the pull method. And so I
Wholesaling
just
is
want to
the
make
rat race of
sure
real estate.
that you all understand exactly what I'm talking about here.
Right there.
So can y'all see this?
Yes.
So basically, once through our marketing channels, the idea is to set up some sort of marketing channel, and he talks about this in depth here. This guy, he had this whole master class, and so we definitely want to check this out. But I was kind of researching this a little bit. So through our marketing, whether that's through Google, Facebook, or whatever, that's going to pull in potential leads. These could be pre-foreclosures, probate, like I said, people with liens. It could be any type of property. We can focus on one, pre-foreclosures, or an array of. Marketing can be expensive, and he really was touching on this. And so we really have to decide how much we're really trying to, but it could be lucrative. And he talks about that as well. So for every dollar you spend on marketing, you want to potentially get, roughly $5 back in return. Okay. So, once you pull in the potential leads, then we identify the opportunities. Is this lead interested in selling to us? If they are, then we set up an appointment to actually meet either face-to-face or via Zoom. If it fits, everything that we're looking for, then we initiate the contract. Okay. And then potentially, hopefully, we, can take that all the way to the closing and generate the revenue. But the marketing is key. So There's another. Here. Yeah. So for every dollar you spend in marketing, you want to make 5 in revenue. And what he's talking about here when he says the cash conversion cycle, how many days does it take when you begin your marketing? How many days does it take to you from the time that you start marketing to the time that you close on your first deal? That will be your cycle. So if it takes us 15 days to go from the marketing ad to a close, a wholesaling close with an end buyer, our cash conversion cycle is 15 days. And then obviously that could stretch, that could increase or decrease as we continue our efforts. Because obviously some properties are going to take longer and others will take less time. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, so that's, like I said, that's the two sides or two aspects that we have to consider. Are we going to do both? Or are we going to do just the manual labor because it's free? And that's going to depend on our level of effort. And if it's our level of effort, the thing that everyone here needs to keep in mind is if everyone here are full-time workers, how much time can you dedicate to wholesaling? We need a specific or estimated number of hours from everyone here. Can you do 5 hours a week? Can you do 10? You know, how many days of the week can you actually dedicate, you know, your time to doing this wholesaling? So is it a few hours a week? If it's 5 hours, when can you do those 5 hours? Is it 1 hour each day of the week, or is it one, you know, a chunk on the weekend maybe? Is it Sundays? Is it Saturdays or whatever? Once we identify that, then we can coordinate between the members who are willing to do this wholesaling here on this Zoom call today. So let's say, for example, we got 6 people. What is it? 6 people on the call today. Yeah. So if it's 6 people on the call today, then what we could do is say, okay, between the 6 of us, if all 6 of us can put in 5 hours, well, how many hours is that total towards wholesaling? 30, right?
30.
Okay, so that means that's our our total time that we can commit towards wholesaling. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
We all work 40 hours works, but 5 hours divided among 6 people, we're getting close to a 40-hour work week, and we can get a lot done.
Yeah. I was just mentioning to Jay that I was like, I think minimum 5 hours a week, even for oneself. Like he can commit to 5 minimum, and let's say I can commit to 5, or everyone can commit to 5. It doesn't have to be 5. Obviously, people work multiple jobs, so we understand that. But I think if you can commit at least 5 for the total of the week, I think we can get a lot done in that time frame, just like you said.
Okay, cool.
Agree, because power works in numbers. If it was just one person, that's not a lot of hours. But as a group, a lot should be able to get done
Yeah,
with
for
just
sure.
5 hours a week.
We definitely then have to be able to have the access to the PropStream if we're going to be looking at those particular properties off of that, if we're going to be doing the liens. So we have to discuss how we're going to do that as well, because remember, it costs for the team, what the amount that it costs for the team. And so we're just looking at that as well. So if we're going to dedicate those 5 hours, we still need access to.
Yeah. Like I know Jay and I are definitely down to split whatever needs to be split for this tonight. And because obviously we want to make sure that obviously people can get on and work on this at different times. Like not all of us can get on at the same time, which is I'm guessing what you're trying to say, right, Yvonne? Like everybody has to sign in at different times when they're available. So it does make sense to have the team set up. So then like obviously Jay and I don't need a separate one, like we can share one, so then that gives, you know, access to somebody else.
Yeah, it's just allowing us to just to have that access, because if we all are dedicated, but you can't go on to do your 5 hours, then that kind of defeat the purpose. So we just need to be able to figure out if we're going to how we're going to do it. 'Cause I know we're not trying to pay it individually, because I think it's what, $100 for the year or whatever, or a certain amount every month for PropStream.
Is it $100 for
$100 a
the
month.
team?
It was $100 for a month.
For a
I'm
month.
talking about
But
if you was
that's for
doing
one.
individually. Yeah, if you was doing individually, but for the team, you know, we collectively, he brought up the list of what that looks like for the team, but we had already discussed how we were going to break that down in groups of 5 or whatever. So
Okay. Yeah, whatever the numbers are, we're definitely we agree, and we're in there, we ready. We ready.
So I
How
just
many
wanted to
people
add a little
have
bit.
okay.
So are we already agreeing that we're gonna go with PropStream for everybody? Because I guess it just depends on, you know, this is all new, at least if new for me, and I'm sure all of us, because we're trying to learn. I mean, do we want to jump in so quick to go ahead and pay, or do we want to try to, you know, start a process where we can try to figure out some things, like if it was the prop wire, everybody getting familiar with the you know, the process, and how, if we do get, like, say, a property, how long it takes, you know, all that stuff kind of accounts into that. I'm just asking.
yeah, definitely. Me mentioning about having access to PropStream, or even if it's PropWire, is just so that way everybody that's committed can do their 5 hours if that's what they're saying. I know that we were discussing in several meetings ago if we were going to do PropStream or if we were going to do PropWire, and we're giving everybody opportunity to kind of check out both of them to see which one had a better flow and what that looks like for the group. So that's how we were looking at it, and I do understand about we getting the feel of it. Because, you know, again, real estate is a beast, and wholesaling isn't, you know, something that, you know, we all are familiar with. But right now, I do know that we have PropStream. That was an option for us to be able to come in as a team and work with PropStream.
So how many people do we actually have in the group?
Right now, it looks like we have a total of 8 people on. That's including myself.
No,
But
total
again,
overall.
for total overall of people that want to do wholesaling,
Yes. This is it.
quite a few people signed up, but we haven't got the number of actual people that says that, okay, I am dedicated. So right now we got a total of, what does that say? 18 people. I can't really see it on my screen.
I think that people really not,
18 people,
you know,
yeah.
I think that once people actually start paying, then people are actually going to start working, because you just going to be paying and it's wasting the money and then not putting in the hours to, you know, participate and, you know, get this ball rolling. You know what I mean? So you can add me down, because I'm ready. Like I was telling Jay Money earlier, like I'm ready, and I am in another academy, but I'm learning things. So the things that I'm learning, I don't mind bringing to the group what I learned. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Ace is trying to find a way to, you know, go about, you know, these leads and finding a way to gain the lead. So this class that I'm in with Daryl, he teaches you all. So if I can learn it, you know, or understand it, and then I can bring it back to the group, then maybe we could do that. You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways you could go about it, but it definitely starts with, like he says, the marketing. As far as that video that Jay Money showed, that's more so what the academy that I'm in. That's what he leans more towards. He leans towards that type of marketing.
Okay. Yeah, no, we appreciate that, Kia. The more we can come together and collab on the information that we receive, the better for us to be successful in this wholesaling process.
So I
Definitely.
agree with you that you have to find out who's really serious and who really wants to do it so you can break the team down so we can start paying and we can get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
you can count me in. Just know that. Count me in. And I'm ready whenever you guys are ready.
I want to quickly, Ace has said something. He said there's two ways that we can do it. We can do the manual labor where we're putting in all the hours, or he was speaking about the marketing. Can you elaborate on that part again? I just want to make sure everybody was clear that those were the two. We can pay into marketing side of it where we're pulling in the money to take care of these things, but we don't necessarily have to do all the legwork. Was that how you were trying to say it, Ace, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everyone is working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're working full time, I like the pull method, but that's going to cost money. And I estimated 10K. So if, for example, if, we can generate 10K, I mean, I'm just going to tell
Oh,
y'all.
hold on. I don't want to cut you off, Ace, but I don't want you guys to think that's what I was basically saying. That's what we should do. I agree with him as far as the legwork. I do think we should go that route. But I'm just saying that in the midst of it, there's things that we're going to learn. So as we get better and we get, familiar with PropStream and those type of things, then eventually, we're going to start learning about the other ways that you can pull people in. So I do agree. I do think that he's right as far as starting the way that he wants to start, as far as, because of the capital.
Yeah, the ideal way is the automated way where we're mostly hands off. And the way that works is we collectively pull our money to focus on hiring a marketing team. This could be on, some marketing person or professional who has a team or whatever on Fiverr. They will understand how to do PPC and they can help us learn as they, create our campaign. The way this, like I said, it's they focus on doing the keyword research and all of that good stuff. The ads go out there, and then whether that's on Facebook or Google, whatever, that's going to appear on YouTube or all of Google's platforms and network of websites. And then that generates the leads. And then we start doing this. So once they come in, our legwork comes in here in this part. Because you can't automate this part.
Right.
So the marketing happens, pulls in the leads, and then we start evaluating from there. Else, if we don't put the money into marketing, then we have to go, 2,500, and then everybody has to pick, a number of properties that they're willing to evaluate. So if there's 8 of us, then we got to split this 2,500 among the 8 of us. And then do that manual legwork and check each and every single property and, make your do your homework, do your analysis, your property analysis. And then everybody will need, so we'd have to give everybody the criteria for your property analysis so everybody's on the same page. So once you get your criteria for analyzing a property, then you go through and your list of properties to evaluate to see if it fits the criteria. And then you put those that do into a list. Okay. Now that's just now we got 30. If everybody does 5 hours a week, now that's 30 hours at least of, dedicated time from all the members to actually get that done. So we can get 30 hours worth. But ideally, I would prefer to do the marketing and just pay somebody to do that, bring in the leads, and then we just evaluate from this part. Opportunities, set up the appointments, and initiate the contracts. Now, maybe. Oh, go ahead, Fernando.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, so that, I guess, that was kind of to my point of, I know eventually, definitely, we want to definitely do that. But if we start out early like this and we get all these leads and then all of a sudden we do get opportunities, but we don't have any experience with the contracts yet. We get and we're losing. So that's why I was trying to say, should we start off kind of so that we can all get familiar, so we can close on a couple of properties. Okay, we got this now. We know how to do the contracts now. We know how to contact people. Eventually, this is just in my eyes, definitely want to go that route, because once we are familiar with it, bring them on. Like, hey, the more the merrier. But if they come on too soon, we paying all this money, and then we lose because we didn't do something right in the contract, or we didn't do something right. Whatever. That's just my thought on it. I mean, I definitely want to eventually be that route where we get as many leads and as many contracts that we can hand. That way we make a lot of money. But at the beginning, that's just my point. I don't know if we should start that, until we're familiar with it. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, if that's a good call out, right? So if the concern is lack of familiarity, right, and being a little bit uncomfortable with initiating contract with these initial leads, right, with these opportunities, then what we do is we schedule them in such a way where we kind of hop on a Zoom call as a collective, and then we, hey, we have this first call with so and so. So say, for example, we got 20 leads. Well, you can expect maybe we might get 3 out of the 20 that's really interested in initiating a contract. So that's just 3 calls. So we schedule the calls with those 3 who are motivated sellers who are ready to close, sign the contract. We all hop on together as a collective, and then we initiate those so everybody can learn. Now, you're going to lose some. Everybody needs to be comfortable with failing. Okay. You're probably going to get on a call with some seller and you're probably going to blow the deal. Like when I started calling, I was nervous. I, didn't know what to say. I was fumbling over words. But I just kept going. You just got to keep going. So it's okay if you lose the deal. Somebody else could circle around behind you and try to close them. You feel me? So maybe I could be the one that blows the deal, and maybe you, Fernando, or maybe you, Jamila, or you, J Money, or Tiana, one of y'all come back around and say, hey, I know that you spoke with Anthony, and tell me what happened. We know that you were, close to what happened. Well, I don't believe that Anthony was he could empathize with my situation. And one of y'all who are more able or capable of empathizing, because I lack that skill, you might be like, oh, I'm so sorry that you went through that, and I apologize. Is there anything I can do? I feel for you. You might have that gift.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of a team.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because cold calling itself is one skill out of wholesaling. So,
and I ain't gonna hold you. That cold calling, that's something that I fear. That's, to be honest, I feel like that's what prevented me from even going forward, even like years ago, like with wholesaling. I was scared than a motherfucker. Oh, I gotta call my what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? So that fear took over me, and it's I stopped. I stopped my ambition. I don't want to do that no more. I'm ready. I'm willing. Let's do it.
And failing leads to success.
That is true. And I think that we were talking about creating a template for us to have for cold calling as well. If that's something that we're fearful of, or you're fearful of, just having something that's in front of you that, it's the same verbiage depending on who you're talking to. Of course, if it's a female or a male, how we're going to, say it from there, but having that streamlined for us and automated so that way we can have that set up.
I think that's a great idea. And then obviously part of the, the template would have like key terms that would be needed. Hey, these are key things that I need to ask this person. Like, hey, make sure you ask this kind of thing. Like, this is important to part of this, the sale. So I think the template is definitely a great idea.
For sure.
And that makes and that's at least that gets you comfortable with what you're saying until you feel that you understand what you're actually saying to people.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And from there, you can, depending on the person you're speaking to, you can always tweak it and, with the conversation that you're saying, because, everybody's not, they start talking about they love dogs. And then you begin to kind of add that into the conversation. Because now they're like, oh, the person, a dog lover as well. And now you're closing a deal just because you said you love dogs, because you heard them say they love dogs or like a cat or whatever.
It's like that too. It's like that too. Like people are like it's a, you relate to them. It's just just like Anthony said, like you give them that sympathy, like that empathy about a situation, and hey, you build that relationship, and that's how you can close the deal.
Amen.
Yeah. So I think we're still on a good front right now.
Like the video said, that's all that is, building rapport with the seller. So,
right, exactly.
But I feel what Fernando's coming from too. Like for people that may be new to this, they want to get a feel for the start to finish in processes. Before we get into the automation part, that kind of makes sense for people who've never wholesaled or new to wholesaling, because as those of us who have approached it or know some about it, there's a lot of processes. I mean, even in that video, those videos, he touched over a lot of stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, so I think in the beginning would be good. Just, we're all, I mean, I've never done wholesaling, so I definitely feel where Fernando's coming from.
We all learning as we go.
We definitely have that small fear, but our ambition is bigger than the fear right now. But it doesn't mean that, we wanted to stop us, right? So, we even to track the hours. For now, it's like, okay, well, I worked on this. Just make a little note. Oh, I worked on that for 30 minutes, worked on this for 45 minutes. And maybe for now, that's how we'll keep track of the hours until we get that automation process started later on. Once we have a couple of deals that we can spend that money to get the automation going, then once that's done, that's going to just take us to a different level, of course. So.
Just to clarify, because I don't know, I'm having a hard time. Just to clarify, so what we're talking about, the difference, we're talking about the marketing, right? Is that not automating, like not paying a marketing agency to do the marketing and us do that ourselves in the beginning so we can learn it. That's what we're talking about, not like the rest of the process, right?
Yeah, that's what we're down to. Either we're going to do all the legwork ourselves, where we're going to research the properties, and then, gather the intel so that way we can say if this is a good property or not, and then work that flow. Or we're going to give that pulling in the leads to the marketing so that can be automated, and then we just do the process of doing that contract, closing the deal, and then getting our money from there. So we're just trying to figure out.
So that includes researching the properties too, because for some reason, I was under the impression that was just, that we were just talking about getting, like buyers.
Yeah,
but
no.
I think I misunderstood.
Right. From my understanding, and I'm asking to come back and correct way that I'm gathering the information, is the marketers is going to do that process for us as far as like gathering the intel for the properties. From there, once they do all of that, they will be giving that to us. And then we're going to be doing the contracts and then from the contracts, closing the deal with the end buyer. So that
Okay.
just takes away the legwork of us going through those 2,500 liens and looking through that, because again, there's 8 of us right now. So all 8 of us go in and look up to 2,500. That's a lot of leg work, and we're all working a 9 to 5. And working a 9 to 5, that may take a little time versus, you know, the market team doing that beginning part for us. And the only thing we got to do is come in, match it up with someone, do a contract, sell it.
Well, there's another piece too, though. Like, even if we had a marketing team, we
Mhm.
still, they would still require of us and ask us, what is our niche market and what are our specific property type? Because even them, like, whatever size list that they pull, they're gonna need to know what specifics are we looking for in order to bring back the things that we are interested in, or what type of properties we want to go after. So we kind of have to decide that as a group too, what market or what markets and what property type. Because otherwise the list is all, even for them, you know, it would be, well, we don't know what you want, so you got trailer parks, you got multifamily, you got single family residence, out of state owned, vacant, you know, it'll be all over the place, you know what I mean? So that could still be cumbersome for us to attack as a group, even if it's not specific, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. And I think that was another thing that we're discussing, is that we have to find out what properties that we're trying to look at, whether they're going to be foreclosures, if it's going to be pre-owned, or the lien. So once we have an idea of what niche we're going to kind of go in, or if it's going to be multiple ones from the foreclosures or bank owned or whatever, then from there, if we're going to have that idea, give it over to the marketing team and they can do from there. But yeah, I agree that that's still gonna be a process for us. But at the same time, do we want to go full force? And as Fernanda was talking about, and everyone sounds like they're in consensus with just trying to start off with the ground floor and us working it ourselves and spending that 5 hours a day or a week or whatever, that we can get to know it and then eventually automate it, or automate it now knowing that we have 9 to 5 and we're working every day and things do happen where we may not be able to spend all that time that we're trying to allot for wholesaling. Just got to figure that part out. But with that, I mean, if we're going to do the legwork and we're going to spend dedicate the 5 hours, that's where it comes in, where we have to you know, have the access and figure out how we're going to split up the properties that we're looking for.
Yeah, I think that also too, like Kia said, I mean, we really got to find out like who is really going to be dedicated so that we can actually break it down. You know, at this point, there's more people that's signed up but not on the call. So if we can break it down, I don't know if we need to put something on and say, hey, by this date, you know, X date, you got to let us know, are you in or out? And then that way we can go ahead and break it down to see how many people we actually have that can do the legwork. Because it could be a whole lot more. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm just saying, if we actually had the number of who actually is really want to do this, you know, by a certain date, then we can really start to break it down.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. We do need to ensure that before we move forward. But let's say that we can guarantee that people that's on right now that are you know, committed, then we can do that as well. But we can't send a message out to the rest of the members who signed up for wholesaling and say, hey, you know, we did have our wholesaling meeting today. We're trying to verify that you're ready and committed so that way we can move forward in teams. So we can definitely do that if we're agreeing that this is what we want to do. We want to start off with doing the legwork and dedicating some time to it. Let's see here.
Do we want to wrap up for today?
Go ahead, say that again.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if we wanted to wrap up for today or if we had anything else we wanted to talk about.
No, I think that what we're going to do is we talked about what PropStream, what wholesaling is. And we also talked about why we're trying to do wholesaling. And then we came on to look at what PropStream entailed. And so I think we all have a visual on what that looks like. And now we're just in the discussion of if we're going to do the legwork or we're going to do the push and pull method where the marketing team is actually, assisting us in doing that and how much that's going to cost. It sounds like right now everyone is it sounds like to me that everyone wants to start off with doing it ourselves and then eventually moving over to automating the system. Is that what I'm getting right now until we reach out to the other person? But the people that's on right now, this is what you all want to do.
Agreed.
And then maybe after you find out all the people that we have and how many people are going to do it, then we can get down and break it down. And then maybe we can do it the way, the marketed way. Because then we'll know how many people we have. And then,
My fault, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just meant to say we can actually do a poll and do that in the general property flea makers and
Poll, you
see.
mean?
Yeah, poll.
Okay.
And see which method people want to go with.
Okay. Go ahead. Somebody was saying something. I think it was Tiana. Were you going to say something?
A poll for the two different methods, or a poll for if people are going to be like active and participate?
Yeah, who's ready to commit? Who's ready to commit to the wholesaling, I think.
Okay.
I have a thought on that, and I want to, as far as doing a poll for those who are committed and finding out they're committed, I'm not quite sure if we should do another poll for that. We had 30 people. I think we should do. Fernanda suggested, like, hey, we're getting ready to move forward in this, and we need to know by X amount of days, are you ready? And and if not, then we're going to move forward because come next Sunday, we're going to be doing X, Y, and Z versus doing a whole nother poll because we got 18 people that said they wanted to do wholesaling. So we know 18 people stated that they wanted to do wholesaling. Now just a matter of, okay, if you want to do wholesaling, come next Sunday, this is what we're going to do versus trying to figure out, are you committed? Are you ready? Well, 18 people already said they were committed and ready.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we should do a poll, especially because we're just we have a little more urgency right now. This is kind of things are kind of moving kind of slow. We need to get started. And I feel like reaching out to people individually just also puts a little bit more pressure on them. Because like some of the polls, people don't even be looking at the polls. Like, keep it all the way real. So yeah, I think we should reach out individually to each person on the who signed up for the wholesaling.
So before we go, I just want to have this on your mind as well. I know we want to just start from doing PropStream and then let's move forward with that. But just think about the whole marketing side. All these things happen in our life that may, keep us from doing the 5 hours that we want. And we want to ensure that when we're moving forward, we're doing it the best way possible. So that way we can ensure that we get a property and be able to sell it and start generating income. So as we think about it tonight, let's, and we reach out to everybody else, like, are we ready and able to commit the hours that we say we're going to commit so that way we can get a property and we can sell it to make make some money off of it. So just something I just want us to all think about tonight. And then we can meet up again on next Sunday, and discuss from there. By then we should definitely have on our general meeting, because on that next Thursday, we will know who's ready, who's able and who will be on our next meeting Sunday. Hold on for a second. I see something for Joanne. I meant we should do a poll to see if people want to do the legwork. Okay.
Sorry.
So
this was Jonathan writing under me, though, by the way, just in case.
Okay. No worries.
Okay. That's why I asked. I thought that's what you meant.
Okay, yes. I'm like, as far as a poll for asking if they're ready, no. But if you're saying if they want to do the legwork or pay towards marketing, okay, that's a different story. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. Somebody mentioned something else and ran with it, so I just said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. No. Yeah, if you're trying to find out if they want to do the legwork or put money towards the marketing, then potentially do.
I mean, it's definitely good to know that. I mean, obviously, maybe some people do want to do the legwork, but just like you mentioned, Yvonne, like, hey, life gets in the way and you might not even have the 5 hours that you think that you can dedicate to it, right? So the more people that we have, hey, that means that it could be split price-wise, it could be split into a bigger quantity of people. So that's less that people would have to put up to make it automated. And then that just guarantees you getting success.
Right,
Or
exactly.
guarantees us getting the success. So that's kind of what you were saying, right? Let's think about that tonight. Kind of like, hey, do we really want to go into a manual thing or not, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I
Gotcha.
know life happens and life be lifing people every day.
Girl,
So,
you tell me.
Yeah.
Like I've been out for the count for like 2 weeks.
yeah, and and not intentionally, just things do happen in life. And I just want to make sure that while we're doing this, we're thinking about those things, because who am I to say that, okay, well, something happened over there. So what? You said you're gonna put 5 hours in. No, that shouldn't be, So yeah, but that is for tonight, and we can move forward in next week and go from there.
It was a great first meeting.
Yeah, I want to definitely get on PropWire and check some more of that stuff out, because I think that that was pretty complex for me to see how it got all the places and stuff, and I just want to kind of check that out. But with that being said,
PropWire is a little less. PropWire is a little less cumbersome. It's a little, yeah, it's easier. It's pretty easy to pick up. It's
mm,
if you can go on Zillow and like
mhm,
Redfin and look up properties and
yeah,
narrow them down on those public websites,
mhm.
you'll you'll be able to grasp PropWire quicker than PropStream.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I do Zillow all the time. I'll be on there checking for houses. Okay, well, that's good information to know, Brian. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. I thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. I will talk to you all on Thursday, our general meeting. Hope to see you guys there, so that way we can prepare for our next wholesaling meeting.
Sounds good. Have a great Monday, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Have a great week.
Good
Have a good
night.
one. Night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Got it.